Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, it's a pretty kind of a little cool, gloomy day. Sun hasn't really been out at all. Lots of heavy cloud cover. Just kind of that misty, gloomy coolness that you would expect in the fall. So nothing that abnormal today at all. There is some more rain in the forecast, I think, tonight and tomorrow. So we'll see what happens with that. The posturing of war against Venezuela is continuing. It's believed, I think I was reading that they were able to confirm 2 or 3 B-52 bombers took off up in North Dakota, and I think another one down in Louisiana headed towards Venezuela. It's believed that this is just another training bombing run, not a real one, but at some point it could be a real one. There's also a lot of scuttle, a lot of talk online about emergency alert messages, the EAMs that are going out right now, that they're not what we would typically see, that the coded numbers are longer and more. I don't know. I don't get deep into that kind of stuff, so I can't tell. All I can tell you is that there's just a lot of chatter right now. In fact, a couple of people are saying that the way that they're looks similar to the ones that were being released just before Russia invaded Ukraine and just before Hamas invaded Israel. Could be nothing. Could be, because they do send these things out like every day and stuff. But I'm just relaying the message. Take it with a tiny little grain of salt. And if something happens in the next 24 to 48 hours, you're like, see, it was true. And if not, it'll be nothing. But there's a lot of building up continually of military equipment down there. Today they designated the cartels down there in Venezuela as terrorist organizations, and Maduro, the president there, as the head of those terrorist organizations. And the Secretary of Defense, or War, whatever you want to call it, has said that this opens up a whole new bunch of options that they can use now against Venezuela, I guess, when it comes to military strikes. So we will see how these things progress, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're progressing. Here's the thing. I have no idea what the dollar amount is, but when you're moving tens of thousands of troops and all types of naval ships and airplanes, and they're rebuilding military bases that's been dormant for decades, we're talking at the very least millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars that's being spent. And if it's over nothing, that's a lot of money being spent over nothing, to do nothing. So the massive amount of military buildup in that region, I mean, it's getting pretty difficult to say that something's not going to happen. Again, time will tell. I mean, we've been saying this for weeks now, because it's been seems to be on a thread, just right on the edge, and yet not moving forward. So we will see what happens. Of course, Venezuela said that they've reached out to Russia and China so that they could come and help Venezuela if they get attacked. I would not depend too much on that, because Russia had said the same thing about Iran, and then when Iran was attacked by the United States and Israel, Russia just kind of stood by and didn't do anything. So I wouldn't, if I was Venezuela, I would not bet on those things happening. In much bigger news, I think, that's not being talked about, it was just a little brief snippet in the news, but it's not something that's getting a lot of legs online. A news article came out saying that the Border Patrol is monitoring drivers, United States drivers all over the country, trying to determine their driving patterns and see if that might indicate that they are criminals or illegals. Now, getting a little deeper into this, partly this has been going on for a while. but it's only been going on right at the border, well, where they will have cameras, hidden cameras, cameras on light poles and street signs and things like that, and they record and monitor things going on at the border so that they can, and of course then that information is fed into an algorithm, which is AI, so that it can determine if someone's driving behaviors or whatever may indicate that they might be committing some crime. So that part is not new. What is new now is that they're spreading this to everywhere. This is all over. We don't know where. We don't know in what cities and what roads and all that. They're obviously not going to tell us. But they are saying that they are now doing this nationwide. And so cameras now will be used by the Border Patrol. And this is the agency that while I am all for kicking out illegals, the manner in which that they are behaving and acting, because it's not just against illegals. They're doing a lot of stuff against, United States citizens, and they're just, anyone. I mean, I've actually seen videos. There's video out there where Border Patrol will just walk up to someone on the streets and say, hey, are you American? And they're like, why do you think I'm not American? Well, you have an accent, or you're Hispanic or whatever. And there have been, even though the White House has denied this, there have been numerous Americans, arrested and then turned around and released, finding out that they're not illegal. And I warned about this years ago, that this was going to how it's going to be. That the problem was allowed to get so big that now there's no good solution. And so it's gotten to the point that a lot of you are saying, hey, these guys look like they're training to be brown shirts. I mean, what else will they be used for? And I've said that before. You're building up this force, putting billions of dollars into it, increasing its ranks by, tens of thousands of officers and agents. They are only going to be used for that. And then when they get done rounding up all the illegals, they're just going to all quit their jobs and go home. Anyways, so they're now setting these cameras up nationwide. They may be in barrels, the roadside caution barrels, the orange and white ones. They may be on power poles, road sign poles, different things like that. And they're collecting all this data, and it's being run through AI algorithms to determine if you are committing crimes. Now, of course, they are saying that they're only using this information to determine if someone is illegal. But they are saying that it's determining based on your behavior, driving behaviors, things like that, if you could be committing some crime. So I think the line is very fine here between using this only against illegals and it being used for anyone else. Because here's the thing. So what if their algorithm determines that this person looks like that they're trafficking drugs? And so they pull them over and they go to arrest them, and they're American citizens, but they are trafficking drugs. Are they going to let them go? Of course not. Of course they're not going to let them go. And I know you're saying, yeah, but if they're trafficking drugs, they should be arrested. Correct. But my point is that this surveillance system is expanding. Take a more minor offense. Are they going to let them go too? This is what I've been warning about. And I don't know. I did a little research and I couldn't find anything that told about who authors the software that's being used. I don't know. I can't find that. But this is exactly the kind of stuff that Palantir builds. I'm not saying that they are the one, but this is the exact type of stuff that they build and what they've been talking about. Larry Ellison talked about this, and he's another one of the big AI gurus. That AI and surveillance systems and drones and cameras would be able to determine if you're potentially committing a crime, and could actually determine whether you have the propensity to commit a crime. I mean, that's right out of like 1984 and Brave New World, folks. And my point is that it's happening. In fact, they're saying this has been going on for months now. This isn't something that they're working towards or that may or may not happen in the future. It is actually happening right now, and it's spreading. And I know that a lot of you are going to say, yeah, but we got to get rid of these illegals and stuff. And I agree with you. But I'm telling you that government does not relinquish power when they're done using it for their claimed purposes. So when they usurp your power and they take away your rights, they trample on your rights, and they say, well, we're doing this just for your safety and security because of XYZ. When XYZ is no longer a threat, they don't just turn around and say, okay, now we're gonna give back this freedom to you. We're no longer going to trample on your freedom because we've taken care of XYZ. That's not how it works. It's not how the Patriot Act worked. Remember the Patriot Act? Some of you old enough to remember that. It was to deal with all these Islamic terrorists after 9/11, except it turned out to where it was just a big surveillance program for the United States citizens. And it was used far more to surveil on United States citizens than it really ever was to surveil on foreign terrorists. And so I'm warning you, because I've been telling you this stuff for a while, that they are absolutely using this technology and plan on using it against you, against me, against us. And they're admitting to it now. And it's all AI driven, and it's being used not just to figure out not just to catch you committing a crime, but this is AI algorithms monitoring your behavior to try to figure out if maybe you have or will commit a crime. That's a very different thing than just a surveillance film, video catching you commit a crime. This is AI monitoring you. You're out and about going to the grocery store and go to the coffee shop and to the chiropractor and picking up the kids from school and all that kind of stuff. And the cameras are all recording you. And then because of maybe you have some weird quirky behavior or some strange driving habit, or you have to keep going back and forth because you forgot something because you're having a crazy stressful day and you've gone back and forth a few times, the AI determines that you might just be a criminal, maybe illegal even. And so it alerts the authorities and you get pulled over and arrested. And yeah, maybe you get released the next day or something, but your rights have been trampled on in the meantime. And they're just collecting more and more data on you and everyone else. Because I assure you, these cameras are also collecting driver's license data and your license plates, all that kind of stuff. And you think they're just going to delete that? Of course not, because the government never does. Just like they don't delete the, gun, forms that you fill out. They claim that they don't keep that, but we know that they absolutely do. It is a form of gun registration. They have all those records. They keep that because the government never destroys records or information unless it's, exposing them for committing crimes. So, I think it's a big deal. I'm sure that many won't think it's a big deal. I'm sure there's, not going to be a whole lot of talk online about it. But it's not shocking by any stretch of the means. This is just confirming what we've already believed to be true. And it's been going on for a while, they say. So you need to wake up. You need to realize the path that we are headed down as this country. It's not even about whether it's Trump or Biden or Kamala or Hillary, Obama or Newsom or anything like that. They're all part of the same club, folks. They're both, two wings of the same bird. And this nation is headed down a path of collapse and destruction faster than I think most people realize. And you need to prepare yourselves for it by getting your houses in order and preparing mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.